Are you thinking about moving to Charlotte? Well, before you book the U-Haul, hear this. Charlotte's not for everybody. Sure, it's cheaper than New York or California, and man, people love Southern charm, but there's some serious downsides that could wreck your plans if you're not prepared. So in this video, I'll walk you through 8 tough realities about living in Charlotte. These are the things that blindside a lot of buyers. But don't worry, by the end, you'll know if Charlotte's right for you or if you should keep searching. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with something that affects pretty much everything about living in Charlotte. It's the size of the city and just how people are getting around that can change your whole day in ways that most people don't really think about. Charlotte covers 310 square miles. That's more than 3 times the size of Seattle and 6 times bigger than San Francisco. The metro area spans 5,597 square miles across multiple counties. Development through decades of annexation from Mecklenburg County. But wait until you see how this massive size translates into actual dollars. We're talking about expenses that'll hit your wallet in ways you never expected, which I'll break down in just a few minutes. Some of the things that people talk about when they think of Charlotte is how it's transformed from this agricultural sprawled center into a banking powerhouse. Most of the residential areas are 20 to 30 minutes from employment centers, and everything feels spread out, disconnected, and can honestly be exhausting. And the thing is this isn't what you're used to. It's a big lifestyle change that can affect how much time you have, how stressed you feel, and how easy it is to make real connections with other people. When you need a car and you have to plan everything, doing things on the fly isn't as easy. And the way the city is spread out, it doesn't just change where you live compared to where you work. It sets off a chain of problems that can show up in every part of your life, especially when you're just trying to get from one place to the other. But before we jump into this traffic mess, if we haven't met yet, I'm Jay White, your local real estate expert. Please take a second to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This channel is like your behind the scenes guide to everything that's happening in Charlotte. No sugarcoating, no cheesy sales talk, just real info that you need before you make one of the biggest decisions of your life. All right, so now let's talk about what it's really like to get around in Charlotte. Charlotte's ranked 20th worst in the country in traffic delays. Residents lose 41 hours annually to congestion, which translates to about $730 per driver in time costs. And if you think traffic costs are bad, wait until you hear about weather expenses that catch newcomers completely off guard. Whether we're talking about insurance or infrastructure costs, it can add thousands to your annual budget. Charlotte's average rush hour speed is 31 miles an hour compared to 45 miles an hour at off-peak times. And I-77 between West Arrowwood and Uptown is only about a 10-mile stretch and has over 100,000 vehicles daily. 23% of Charlotte's roads rated poor condition. That's the worst among major North Carolina cities. $784 annual cost per driver in vehicle repairs because of these road conditions. Now, 93% of commuters drive to work with their personal vehicles, which causes more congestion. And the average commute is about 25 minutes for city residents and longer if you're in the suburbs and surrounding counties. The traffic isn't just annoying, it's like a daily tax on your life. Between gas money, the damage to your car, and the stress of dealing with rough roads every morning and every evening, there's a hidden cost that real estate agents never really talk about. And with all this traffic and how spread out everything is, you might wonder what makes people still move to Charlotte. Well, that's where we hit another complaint about our city. It has been said that Charlotte has no culture. So aside from just getting around, there's something else that really matters for your day-to-day life. It's feeling like you belong. And the truth is, Charlotte's had a hard time building a strong cultural identity that makes people proud to live here or feel really connected to the city. There's persistent criticisms for a lack of a distinct cultural identity. It's got the absence of a significant pop culture contributions. The city has an identity crisis from rapid growth. Are we a banking city? Are we a NASCAR city? We've got constant migration from other cities and other countries that contribute to this, and no deep community roots or traditions. In fact, if you hear somebody say they're from Charlotte, they're the weird one. Here's the thing, it's not that Charlotte doesn't have a big, excellent cultural scene. The real issue is this gap makes it harder to connect with people and feel like you truly fit in. And when the city doesn't have a strong personality, it's tough to feel like something you're proud of or feel like it's a home and not just a place you go to sleep. And this lack of culture creates an identity problem for the city. But you might be thinking, well, at least it's cheaper than other fast-growing places. But that's when the reality check hits that surprises a lot of people. First thing that needs to be said about housing costs is that they're all relative. It matters where you're coming from. But let's get straight to the numbers that really hit your wallet. Housing costs have shot up so fast that many people that keep the city running can't afford to live here anymore. The median home price in Charlotte this January 2025 was about $405,000. Now that's a 5.9% increase from the previous year. But you would need to earn $152,000 for a family income for a median priced home. This is where things start to get pretty expensive. In transportation reality, I'll show you later, it means that you can't literally survive here without multiple cars, which adds tens of thousands of dollars in your living costs that nobody talks about. The average price has jumped from $376,000 in January 2022 to $415,000 in September 2023. Essential workers are being priced out. Think about bus drivers, firefighters, nursing assistants, the people that make this city run. You need about $21 an hour for basic housing affordability, and about 50% of Mecklenburg residents are cost burdened, meaning that 30% of their income or more is spent on housing. 22% of those people are severely cost burdened, meaning over 50% of their income has to go towards housing. That's what happens in this classic affordability crisis. The people who are keeping the city running can't afford to live here. That means service workers, first responders, teachers have to commute longer and longer distances, and that ends up hurting the quality of services that we get as a resident. But housing causes get even tougher when we add in the extra expenses that comes with Charlotte's weather. These are the things that people don't necessarily plan for. Now, we're talking about the environment and safety issues that come with it, but things that people don't think about when they're deciding to move. The weather here can actually put your home and family at risk. Our summer temperatures are typically in the high 80s to around 90 with high humidity, which makes it feel warmer. Our hot season is about 3.7 months from May 26 to about September 15th before we start getting relief. During the fall, we have tropical storm and hurricane remnants that can impact Charlotte despite being about 3 hours inland. And if you think that dealing with hurricanes and tornadoes are rough, wait until I tell you about the biological hazards that come with this climate. Health risks that can cause you thousands of dollars in medical bill and pest control. In October 2024, Hurricane Helene came through the Carolinas and dropped 2 to 4 inches of rain in western North Carolina upriver from Charlotte, and about 50-mile-an-hour winds and spawned several tornadoes. Now, we saw really traumatic impacts from that even in Charlotte, with rivers flooding and dams surging to their capacity and sometimes even over that. Speaking of tornadoes, even though we're not in Tornado Alley, the National Weather Service does issue tornado warnings and watches throughout the Charlotte market several times a year. And while snowstorms are becoming less and less of a thing, ice storms are becoming more and more of a thing. Charlotte has ice storms, and the last one occurred in January 2025, where it dropped about a half an inch of ice accumulation, which canceled hundreds of flights, school closings, business closings, and caused major traffic problems throughout the metro area. All of this results in higher insurance premiums, potential property damage, and the need for power backups in some situations. Every year, you're taking a chance on things like property damage, power outages, and emergency costs that can add up to thousands of dollars. This isn't the easy, mild southern climate that a lot of people expect when they're moving down here. And the problems don't end with storms and crazy temperatures. Here's the deal. Beyond property damage, there's a few other problems that you might run into with nature here, and depending on your personality and preferences, you might not be able to handle it. Charlotte has intense allergy seasons, both in the spring, summer, and fall. In the spring, we have tree pollen. In the summer, we have grass pollen. In the late fall, we have weed pollen. And all these things can flare up allergies if you have allergic reactions to them. And Charlotte spends a lot of money on Benadryl. It's also ranked 18th in the country for major cities for mosquito problems. Charlotte has a bunch of different species of mosquitoes, and it's been said that some of them are as big as helicopters. Charlotte's humid summers and frequent rain make it the perfect breeding ground for these insects. Now let's talk about snakes. All 100 North Carolina counties have venomous snakes, and 90% of those snake bites by venomous snakes are done by copperheads. Copperheads have excellent camouflage. They inhabit wooded areas, rocky slopes, and buildings, and Charlotte is the perfect habitat for these animals. And you don't go more than about a week or two without seeing a picture of one on a Facebook post. These can be real dangers to your family's health and safety that need constant attention and can cost a lot over time. From allergy medicine to pest control and even emergency medical care, those hidden costs can pile up. Now, you might think good public transit could help you avoid some of these outdoor problems and fix the traffic issues I talked about, but sadly, Charlotte's transportation options come with their own challenges. Public transportation is one of Charlotte's biggest problems. In fact, the public transit system is so weak that almost everybody has to rely on cars, no matter what they want or can afford. The current light rail line is the Blue Line. It's only about 19 miles long with 26 stations, and it's limited to the north and south corridor, all the way from Pineville in the south to the University City in the north. And CATS is our busing system, but it's limited to 69 bus and rail lines. And our metro area has about 2.5 million people. So because of poor bus stop signage and unreliable service, it's underutilized. Charlotte's also one of the least walkable big cities in America, according to Walk Score. It has car-centric infrastructure, back of curb sidewalks, gaps, dangerous crosswalks, and a major lifestyle change for walk-oriented people. So when everybody in the city needs to own and take care of a car to get around, no matter their budget, it starts to shut whole groups of people out. And it makes the sprawl and traffic problems even worse. Because of this, you're stuck driving everywhere, which brings us right back to those traffic and spread out city problems. It's all connected and it all comes to that same deep issue that's been growing for years. So let's get to the root of it. Charlotte area is growing so fast that its roads, plans, services just can't keep up with the number of people moving in. Charlotte's population is set to increase by more than 50% by 2050. Residents make 3.2 million daily trips, rising by 1.5 million to about 4.5 million by 2040. This transportation infrastructure needs $5 billion over the next 25 years. This is causing school overcrowding in surrounding counties. In fact, over the last 20 years, the population of Lancaster County, which is in South Carolina, has increased 46,788. That's significant, and it suggests that the population has not reached its peak yet and is showing a trend of further growth. All of this expansion has caused significant school problems in some of the surrounding counties of Charlotte. Lincoln, Iredell, and Union County have mobile classrooms and overcrowded facilities. This breakneck growth outpaces public service, road maintenance, and community amenities, and has Charlotte roads among the worst in North Carolina. So when a city focuses on growing fast instead of making life better for the people living here, residents pay the price with longer drives, crowded services, and roads and systems that always feel behind. The real question isn't whether Charlotte will keep growing. It's if Charlotte can figure out how to grow in a way that works before the problems get too big to fix. There you have it, guys. 8 solid reasons that Charlotte might not work for you. It's not a bad city, but if you want walkable neighborhoods, strong transit, you can't handle the heat or the allergies, you're gonna struggle here. And the bottom line is that you need to know these facts before you move to the area. If you're still considering Charlotte and you want personalized advice based on your unique situation, we'd love to help figure out the best move for your family. Email us today, info@jwhitegroup.com, and let's talk about your priorities, your timeline, and what you're hoping to find. And if this deep dive was helpful, stick around for my next video linked here. It's the one YouTube thinks you might like the best. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.